Hi.
This is Jen.
And Will.
It's been a long time since my husband has been on my channel,
Yeah.
let alone YouTube. So, Oppa, for anyone who's new, do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Will, and I'm Jen's husband. For those of you who haven't seen me before, nice to meet you. I hope I get to see you more often.
Do you want to introduce in Korean as well, just very briefly, for any Korean viewers?
안녕하세요. 저 이름은 윌리엄이고 제니퍼의 남편입니다. 여러분 자주 뵐 수 있으면 좋겠습니다.
So formal. We are here today because it's been a long time since we've sat down to do a heart-to-heart with you guys, and you guys have asked us tons of questions on Instagram. So we're going to go through some of the top questions. I've been uploading a lot of like vlogs and honestly kind of boring stuff.
Jen is just boring.
Thank you very much. That's wonderful coming from my own husband. Yeah, but I really feel like I haven't caught you guys up on anything, how we've been. We've been in Korea for 4.5 years now after moving from Australia. So yeah, I think it's about time. We've recently come out of a kind of challenging period for us personally and also as a married couple. So we've come out of that a bit stronger and more mature. So we kind of feel like we're ready to share some of the things that we've experienced and learned.
Yeah, it sounds serious, but I think this is something that everyone might actually go through at one stage in their life. So.
I think a lot of you guys have kind of grown with us, so there are a lot more married people than before.
Yeah.
So I think we used to do heart-to-hearts like back in Sydney 5 or 6 years ago, and there were a lot of questions about like girlfriend, boyfriend, and now it's like how to meet the right husband and what to do when you get married. We are not pros or counselors or anything. We're just talking to you guys like we're your friends or like sister, brother kind of advice. So if you guys are excited for this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and we'll do more of these in the future. Let's get started. So we're going to start off with Soyoung Diaries. What was the hardest thing you guys went through? How did you guys deal with the hardship? Love you too. Love you. So we're starting off with a really intense one.
Jen would have to agree with me. Last year would have been the hardest ever since we got married. We've been married for quite some time now, and I think it was
10 years.
10 years. It was one of the first experiences that we had, right? To actually feel how far we can both go. And I think mostly it started with me, but yeah, Jen was the one who held onto this relationship, and I really thank Jen for holding this relationship accountable.
So just to kind of sum it up, everyone has fights, but we went through a really difficult period like end of last year, beginning of this year. It's kind of hard to describe what happened, and I think we both might have different perspectives on it. But for me anyway, it was more of like built up misunderstandings. We have different communication styles and different ways of expressing. I'm an INFP according to Myers-Briggs, and William is an ISTJ. So that's almost completely opposite, like a really opposite spectrum. We have been through a lot of difficult things in the past 10 years, I have to say. But like that period was just between us two, you know?
After 10 years, we thought we knew each other really well. But the reality wasn't so. If you are actually going through, if you're in a couple situation and if you are actually having major fights and whatnot, just stop everything and then start analyzing the other person and start finding out more about that person and try to listen to the other person, what they have to say. And one by one, the problems will untangle itself. And I think that's what actually happened to us. The understanding each other really opened up a new door for us to understand, and now we came out stronger than ever.
The Myers-Briggs helped us a lot, so if you guys haven't checked that out and you don't know your personality or your partner's personality, it helps so much. Like you can basically just read about each other and what drives you and moves you. And I'm not saying that that's like the be-all end-all, but it really helped us in that situation. And also for us going to church and worshiping and praying together and coming before God and surrendering everything again together was like pivotal. And so we can gladly say that we are happier than we have ever been, like truly like 10 years summed up. Because we know each other, and I feel like William really like understands me more and like gives room for me. This is a bit cheesy, but I do feel like William loves me much deeper than the past like 10 years kind of put together. I think that relationships require a lot of hard work. It's a teamwork. So as long as you have the commitment to this person that you love, all the difficulties can actually create deeper love and deeper connections. So,
you hinted a little bit on Instagram and sometimes on YouTube and whatnot.
I mean, because we hadn't come out of the period yet, I couldn't really share it. And I'm someone who's really honest with how I feel, so I couldn't completely conceal it as well. So I kind of posted a couple of things. And I know some of you guys were really concerned and praying for us. So thank you guys so much for your support as always.
Do you have a workout routine? Diet to stay fit? I love you. No.
Why did you choose that question?
Just to say no. We don't have any workout routine, nor do we have any diet.
I go through phases for me anyway, like when I've got some important stuff happening and I need to make sure that I'm really healthy and fit, then I do it very regularly. I go to the gym, do like a routine of the treadmill, the cycling, push-ups and sit-ups and some weights and stuff. And I love to go for walks to the park. William is more of a self-exerciser.
After a long day of work, just going out again, especially in this heat and in Seoul, there's horrendous amount of microdust. So I'm like,
really affects it.
I really want to go out with Jen, yes, but at the same time I'm tired. It's really hot outside, and then I don't want to breathe that air again.
To do taekwondo, and I love that kind of thing. But,
she used to outrun me, like whenever we go out.
You couldn't catch me.
Yeah,
but no, unfortunately, I don't currently have a workout routine. But for diet, we do try to stay as healthy as possible, even though I still love my carbs. I love bread. But we do have a lot of like vitamins and stuff that we take, probiotics, and eat as organic as possible when we're cooking at home. Tiffany Yoon asks, how has it been living in Korea? Do you see yourself living there for good?
Do you ever face peer pressures or temptations for plastic surgery since it's so common there? How does life in Korea compare to life depicted in dramas? Since everyone has some pretty rich guys marrying poor girls, how do you keep your relationship?
Oh my goodness, this is not just one question.
These are like 15 questions.
Yeah, it's like encapsulated in one.
How has it been living in Korea?
How was it? For me, living in Korea has been really, really good. Got to work in a nice company, made some good friends. And South Korea has a lot to offer in terms of, I would say, Asian things. There are a lot of stuff that guys would like. For instance, it's really extremely easy to maintain your hobbies. If you're into model, the robots and figures and making those models and whatnot, it's everywhere. And also, if you love maintaining cars, I mean, cars are still more expensive than possibly North America, but compared to Australia, this is like heaven. And everybody keeps themselves really, really fit and well groomed. So if you love shopping, South Korea cannot go wrong with that as well. So for me, apart from lack of nature, obviously, South Korea has been really, really fun place to live.
Yeah, I think Korea is really fun. I think it's really convenient. It's really fast paced. So there are fast paced. There's downsides like you losing your English over time. Yeah. Or like if you're Aussie, you get an American accent. Majorly. Yeah, you're really losing it lately. Yeah, exactly. I noticed it.
I don't know what's going on. I work in
you work
foreign
in an
company.
international.
I don't know like why I'm losing it, but I'm losing it.
You still do because you're not really surrounded by like a natively English speaking environment.
Yeah, exactly.
So you kind of find yourself like accommodating your English for what typical people might understand, and so you speak a lot phobia.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I think my accent's gone. You guys know that I went through a little hard time when I first came here to adjust, so that was a little difficult, but that's the case with whenever you move to any new place where you leave all your friends and family behind and you like starting fresh. But it's been good lately since we've joined a church that we love.
So good.
Jubilee Church.
Yeah, such nice people.
Yeah, everyone's so nice. Yeah, if you're looking for a good church, Jubilee is a good one that we recommend. But ever since we've been settling down here, we've got a nice community of people, and so it feels good. I'm feeling a lot healthier and happier. Do you see yourself living there for good? We don't have any plans to really move back to Sydney, I'm sorry.
As of yet, life could change.
It's always kind of like 3 to 5 years ahead that we're thinking, so long term, we're not sure. If we retire, we'd probably go back to Sydney because we've got pension, but we haven't thought that far. This one's a kind of deep one. Do you ever face peer pressures or temptations for plastic surgery since it's so common there? This is my personal experience, so I don't want it to be something that offends anybody. It's my personal, everyone has their own story. But for me, I actually didn't start beauty YouTube because I thought that I was pretty. And I actually still don't think that I am that aesthetically pretty according to media or society standards. So that has actually been a big burden for me because I only started beauty YouTubing because I like makeup I like applying it on other people. I liked prettifying things and just making things like happy. I felt satisfaction in that, and that's the reason why I wanted to start YouTube. I wanted to share that with you guys. Not because I'm like a model, you know. So for me, this was actually a huge struggle because once the beauty YouTubing industry started to really kick off, I found myself in an environment where I didn't actually anticipate myself being in.
Yeah.
And it has recently become more and more high standards and competitive and just more and more unrealistic. And if you don't do plastic surgery, you just don't look the right part, honestly. So especially being in Korea, there definitely were pressures that I felt.
Yeah.
And William has witnessed this.
Well, in Australia, you don't generally feel the pressure, such
Yeah.
social pressure, because everybody is respected and adored for who they are, individualistic.
Yeah.
And if you have freckles and people say, oh, that's a nice feature on your face, here in Korea, it's something that you have to get rid of. I think, yeah, there's definitely peer pressure in Korea. Everybody is really aesthetically focused. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but if you're obsessed with it, then that's when it becomes a bit too much. But yeah, definitely she's in this industry where everybody is expecting...
Picture perfect.
Yeah, everybody's expecting all YouTube creators to be, like Jen said, picture perfect.
And social influencers are, you know, the age that we live in where you just scroll down your feed and everyone just looks perfect,
Yeah.
right? And if you put up something that's slightly just not that perfect, people don't like it. And then that's like, I think you're running on this wheel that just never ends.
Yeah.
This pressure is actually pretty hard, and it's something that I'm actually personally still facing and trying to be really positive about and, you know, remain who I am. But yeah, I'm not saying that I don't like how I look and the way that God made me, but there's definitely pressure for, you know, just having big eyes and stuff. Like if you're a beauty YouTuber, you need to be able to apply lots of makeup, and there's a certain standard of things that people treat you differently based on. So I think in order to be a strong beauty YouTuber, you need to be really certain about who you are.
Yeah.
If you prioritize how much people like you and popularity as a social influencer, then you do everything in order to achieve that standard.
And then please others rather than being satisfied by your own, on your own. And also, it's not just about YouTube career, I guess. Wherever you are,
Yeah.
You don't exist to please others, but you exist so that, you know, you can be who you are,
Exactly,
right? So
yeah.
I think that's what Jen is trying to say as well. And it should be the right message from everybody, I think, whether you're in the beauty industry or not.
So like, anyway, one thing about Korea, definitely as a beauty YouTuber myself, is people do treat you differently based on how you look.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
right.
it just is the way it is.
Yeah.
And it's the culture here. It's like how you present yourself is how people think you expect them to treat you.
Yeah.
And so when I first came here, it was definitely really hard. I really felt this pressure from brands, or if I was doing like magazine features and I was going barefaced, and the reaction from people when, you know, people see my moles and my small eyes compared to other beauty YouTubers, you know, because I haven't done the double eyelid surgery and things like that. Like that kind of thing, it was really shocking to me because I didn't really feel that in Australia. And also it was kind of sad because I like giving people more space to prove who they are beyond what they look like.
Yeah.
But then Korea is so fast-paced and it's like first impressions based. So I really didn't feel like people were giving me enough time and like space to prove that I'm more than what I look like. So that was difficult, but about past the second or third year of being in Korea, I gained my own identity. As I got to understand and feel around what this country is like, I don't feel those temptations or pressures anymore. Having said that, I just want to add, if anyone is considering plastic surgery, give yourself a bit more time, because
absolutely.
when you're in your teens or early 20s, that's when you're really kind of following after all the trends and doing everything that's cool. You know, you tend to follow what people are doing a lot more when you're younger. But then out of experience, I think in your mid-20s and onwards, you start to develop a bit more character and maturity, and your values kind of change a bit. So you're not just completely focused on purely like what's out here, you know, the trends and stuff. So you start to really see things differently and you see yourself differently as well. So the things that you might have hated about yourself when you were a teenager, when you're in your 20s, it kind of blossoms and you learn to love it, and that's actually what makes you who you are. So if you change it when you're really young, just keep this in mind that you're not really giving yourself a chance to really learn to love yourself.
And also, plastic surgery means you're standardizing your features to fit what's actually regarded as the ideal model of the current society. So if you actually depend on somebody else's hand to craft, or redesign some of your features, then the person doesn't necessarily know exactly what you want, but he or she will actually recommend what's generally accepted by the society or the standardization. And exactly.
Yeah.
And a few years down the track, you might actually regret doing it.
It might be out of trend and you don't look like what you were born with as well. So just think about it. Again, we're not saying it's a bad or good thing, but I'm also a girl and I also know how everyone feels, so I'm not saying like that's not my problem as well. I'm saying it because I feel it too. I feel the pressure. I know you guys are feeling it in this social media age, so let's keep the faith and give yourself one more chance, because you are really beautiful the way that you are. How is life in Korea compared to life depicted in K-dramas? Is everyone handsome, pretty? Do rich guys marry poor girls? How do you keep your relationship and marriage strong?
Are you planning to have a baby soon? Over to you, Jen.